This week on LISD Overtime, we'll take a look at how the basketball playoffs are going, check in on the new soccer season, and preview what's to come in the upcoming softball and baseball season. I'm Kellen Croxton, and welcome back to LISD Overtime. We couldn't have an episode last week due to some rare snow in the area, but we're back this week, and so is playoff basketball. Many playoff basketball games were played this Saturday, including the first round of the boys 6A tournament playoff game and Hebron's play-in game. This past Saturday was the first round of the boys 6A state basketball tournament, but before the tournament could start, Hebron still needed to play their tiebreaker game against Plano. A strong performance by Alex Cotton led Hebron to a 43-39 win. Hebron would then play their first playoff game against number 27 in the nation, McKinney. During Tuesday night's action in Allen, Hebron realized early on that they'd have to beat the press. While McKinney didn't shoot very well in the first half, Hebron's defensive struggles gave the Lions more than enough opportunities to score. And as the Lions added to their lead, Hebron continued to struggle against McKinney's full-court press. The Hawks were able to get a couple of tough shots to fall, but the Lions' height advantage and stifling defense kept the Hawks out of the lane and forced too many of those difficult shots. Through a rough first half, Alex Cotton was a bright spot among the Hebron offense, shooting 5 for 5 from the field and having 12 points. Despite his effort, Hebron was down 38-23 going into the half. And as the second half started, things started to look promising for the Hawks as they started to create turnovers and break through McKinney's press. However, the Hawks were unable to convert those opportunities into points, and while the Hawks played better team offense in the second half and almost doubled their rebounds, they couldn't score enough to cut their deficit. On the defensive side, Hebron guard Nate Mercer started to press throughout the second half, but it wasn't until the entire team started to press that they saw any positive results. Rough game for the Hawks as they fall to the Lions 66-51. Moving over to Marcus, the Marauders played their first round playoff game against Prosper. The game was a good, balanced performance that led to a 56-52 win over the Eagles. This wasn't just an important win, but also a great showcase of teamwork. Marcus hopes to continue their playoff run as they go up against an undefeated Richardson team on Wednesday the 24th. Turning to soccer, Monday night, Hebron and Lewisville's girls teams faced off in what both teams were hoping could be a turning point for their season. Hebron took the lead early, and it was clear from that point in the game wouldn't be close. Lewisville's early season struggles continued through this game as they were not able to gain much momentum. Hebron controlled the ball most of the match and left Lewisville with little opportunity for a comeback. The Lady Hawks outscored the Lady Farmers 7-0. While Hebron moves to 2-3-1, the Farmers stay winless. Moving on to boys soccer, Lewisville hosted Marcus on Monday night. Lewisville started out strong, scoring 2 goals within 10 minutes early in the match. As the half progressed, Marcus started to put pressure on the Lewisville defense. Sophomore Avery Estelle's aggressive playmaking helped Andrew Wang score 2 consecutive goals to tie the game at half. Going into the second half, the Marauders kept their momentum going as they continued to control the time of possession. Junior Dylan Watson scored the game winner off of an Andrew Wang assist in the final minutes. Marcus won the game 3-2 and is now sitting at 5-1 in the district and 15th in the nation. Dallas Morning News recently released their DFW high school baseball and softball for preview. They listed several LISD teams to watch. On the girls' side, the Lady Jags are the team to look out for this year. Flower Mound has made the playoffs the past 14 years and is hoping to continue that streak this year. Pitcher Landry Harris, who went 6-1 with the team, had an 1.7 ERA last season, will be a key role player in this team's success. Another Flower Mound softball team looking to make a run this season is the Marauders. Last year they had a record of 11-4, and what led them to be winning so many games was how well they hit. A team who averaged 9.3 runs per game is looking even better this year, as 7 seniors are set to play college softball after this year. Junior shortstop Hayden Solowski is the #1 recruit in DFW and set to sign with Oklahoma State. Moving on to baseball, the Marcus boys team is ranked 4th in the state and finished 11-2 last year. Although the Marcus Marauders haven't made it to the state tournament before, the team led by Dallas Baptist signee Tyler Schott is poised to make a run this year. This week's team of the week is the Lady Hawks soccer team. In the past 2 games, they've scored 10 goals and have held both Flower Mound and Lewisville scoreless. Hebron hopes to keep this streak going as they improve to 3-3-1 in district. Joining me now in the studio is LISD Assistant Athletic Director Cody. So for the first time in almost a decade, the district got snowed out. How did this weather affect sports schedules at LISD, especially those for the basketball playoffs?
Well, it impacted all of our sports that were playing for sure. Basketball, they're in the midst of the playoffs, and so it just delayed everything where we just stopped for a week and a half. And so now we're left with teams' possibility of playing 3 rounds of the basketball playoffs in 1 week, this week. So it kind of put their seasons on a hold, and they weren't able to practice. And it affected the other sports. Baseball and softball had to cancel practices and scrimmages, and then going into our soccer. Same thing with soccer, that they couldn't practice, but then now they're having to make up games. Our 6A schools are playing 4 games in a week, which is tough on kids, and our 5A school, the Colony, they're playing 3 games. So it's making everybody kind of work extra hard to get everything done.
Yeah, definitely. I think this weather's been very inconvenient, especially just for everyone around the district. And I'm wondering, did the weather affect any of the stadiums, the fields, anything like that, like it did the roads?
We didn't have many issues with our football stadiums. We did have some water issues where a couple on the home side in the press boxes don't have water. But other than that, all of our arenas and weight rooms and any of those facilities, they were in good shape.
That's good. And now the Marcus boys soccer team was widely considered to be the favorite for the state championship, or one of the favorites for the state championship last year. And they're off to a pretty good start at 5-2 this year. What can they do to replicate last year's success?
Well, they have an awfully good team, and that's what we always talk about this, just in our district, in this area. All of our teams it seems like every year one of them has a chance to win a state championship, and all of them always are very talented. Marcus has a really good group this year, and I talked to Coach Garza, who's a Marcus graduate and played professionally, but he talked about just they try to play together. They try to play unselfishly. He was really emphasizing staying in the moment, and I think that was what he really was trying to get across to his kids, to enjoy it and just play together as a team. But like I said, any day anybody can beat them, and especially in our district, with Hebron and Flower Mound, and boys and girls, we always have teams that are at the state level.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a very competitive district, and sometimes you can see teams that are second and third in the district, but when they get to the regional and kind of the state level against other schools, they see a lot more success. And I think the philosophy that you talked about the Marcus coaches having about working as a team is definitely beneficial, because it helps prevent the issue of you have a bunch of seniors and then you make a really good title run and then your team struggles the next year. So being able to kind of work as a team and everything like that really helps all the underclassmen and everyone really work as a team and stay not only for a good title run one year, but have a consistent success like we've seen with the Marcus teams. Yeah, I agree. All right. Coming up on Friday, Lewisville Sports Media Network will be broadcasting a great district soccer showdown as the state-ranked Marcus Marauders host the Capel Cowboys. Coverage begins at 7:30 on YouTube, and that's all the sports news for this episode. Make sure to come back next episode for more information on what's happening with sports around the district. I'm Kellen Croxton, and thanks for watching LISD Overtime.